Hey everybody, happy Sunday. It is Sunday, January 8th, about prior to 7 o'clock. I know you guys are busy, it's the weekend, so I won't take up too much of your time, but I did want to express some concerns that I have as we move forward into this week. Um, Obviously, Friday, fantastic. Trade of the week worked out great, full credit. Late in the day on Friday, what I was seeing was there were people that missed out on the trade of the week that were getting into the call trade. And as it developed, I mean, it develops how it develops. Uh, Looking here just on the 1 minute chart and how we trolled this area, that resistance at 38.80, 38.90, and then kind of held. The traditional method would be to get up there at that 38.80, 38.90 area that we've been resisting for 3 weeks, and then just troll it across sideways. But what we had happening there on Friday, right back there, visited again just prior to 2 o'clock. And then as you started to get that bond market close and, commodities closing, they squeezed it up right up to that 38.90, which was that top area. And then as we closed here at 2:30 at the bond market, that was where you had your stop move. They had the stop sweeps, with everybody that was short being that was your triple top, and you just continued to troll up above that area, come down, revisit it right there at that end of the day, and it was just not enough time. Had a little bit of a dip there on the futures, but you did get closed up above that upper range. The first time that we've closed up above that upper range since Jerome Powell and the GDP report back on November 30th, where we broke the upper range, 39.95.78, and we closed above it. That day, we didn't happen to be playing anything on the upside. We were already bullish and playing the downside, selling the puts. Paid off fantastically that day. This time we broke the upside and we closed above the upside by what you see there, 12 points, fractionally above, but a lot of people that traded right there on that safe edge, they did get bagged on it and had to either roll it or eat it. And unfortunately, I did speak to one person who ate it, and he ate it pretty big with some big contracts, and that hurts. It does hurt. Uh, but what my concerns are moving forward, just to keep this quick, is on this week going ahead, nothing really on Monday. Fed Bostic, that's about it. Nothing really matters. On Tuesday, and again, it's Tuesday, traditional Taco Tuesday. Tuesdays love to sell down. At 4:30 in the morning, Jerome Powell speaking with the Bank of England's Bailey. And then he speaks again at 9 o'clock. Between him is Kuroda. Now, Kuroda's speeches haven't been much, but a lot of you guys might remember when he did that bond move, which was really QE, a couple of weeks ago, back in December. That was what caused, where was it? This move right here, this big gap down that we had on December 1. I don't, I believe it was December 1. I'm going off memory, but in any case, as you see here, we had that support level that we were holding all through November and December after we had that move up. That is now resistance. This 39.45 area, 39.30, that is going to be the resistance zone. And how we worked out on Friday with the futures, we had a pretty weak but visible sell divergence, especially on the Dow. You could see it on the NASDAQ. You could definitely see it on the ES, but it was very, very blatant over here on the Russell 2000. And how we ran up here, hit the upper Keltners on the future. I am very concerned that we, again, having had a green close, another one of those things that we track, and it's been very, very consistent. We had a green close on Friday. We had a green close on Wednesday. But you go back, we had two green closes in a row in December, December 20th and 21st, and back over here, December 12th and 13th. We had two in November, November 23rd and 22nd, which was heading into Thanksgiving, very obvious. And we had two. November 10th was the CPI day where we had that 207-point move, closed green the next day. Prior to that, Coming off of the November low, 36.98, we had 3 green closes in a row. So this was very oversold when we were at 36.98. We had 3 green closes in a row. Now where we're going, and again, it is a concern for me, is we've got the VIX at that 2102. That's where it came down to there on Friday. Under 2102 or even at 2102 has not been a pleasant place to be being bullish in the market. It just hasn't been. Even on that August dip, we were down here for a couple of days, but then eventually we just got our asses ripped as we hit that 43.25 over here on the SPX. The VIX came down to 19. Now, the VIX is not as reliable as it used to be because all of the money is on the 0 days to expiration. Friday, we broke a record. It was the most call action on a 0 DTE in history on Friday. Hence, you got your squeeze up above that 38.80, 38.90 level. It's not as reliable as it has been prior to SPY QQQ getting also the daily expirations, but it is something to definitely be very worried about. And then you come over and you look at your Dow. Your Dow is bullish. There's no question. The Dow has been the most bullish of all the indexes. But on the Dow, we are treading close to getting to a little bit of an overbought warning on the daily. And again, same thing. Trolling in that position there for almost 3 weeks. And then we had our breakout move there on Friday. Over here on the SPX, the same thing. On the RSI, we're fractionally starting to get up there, even though we are starting to get a bullish crossover here on the MACD. Our slow stochastics are definitely very bullish as of what happened there on Friday. They were already curving bullish as we were moving through all of last week and the end of 2022, but still something to be very concerned about as we go in here with Jerome Powell. Now, for me personally, my personal preference, not my opinion, but more of my preference, is we would get a move up to around here, possibly on Monday, that 39.20, 39.35 area. Where we close, I'm not going to flip a coin on that. But then with Jerome Powell say something very negative and bring us back down here into this 38.50, 38.40 level. Again, that's my preference. My preference for all of this, because on Friday, every bear got demolished. And now they're going to be looking bullish. So you could have a continuance in here on Monday. You don't have any economic news. You don't have anything pending there. So again, my preference of what I would probably expect, or not expect, what I would like to see would be a little bit of a continuance there on Friday. See if we can top out here, depending on where we close. I don't know what the answer is to that. I'm not going to flip a coin. But then have Powell come out and say some nasty shit prior to the open, it being traditional Taco Tuesday, and have us dip down here to around this 38.40 level. Now, from that, we have CPI coming out on Thursday, and we're starting earnings. I would love to see a push back up to this area here, right around the 200-day moving average at 4,000 to that 40.20, which was our last big close, right here at 40.20 when we hit that 4,196 back on December 13th. We haven't had a close above that 40.19. So therefore, I'm not able to pull the spreads up, but I am able to get a calculator based on what closed there on Friday. And just bear with me here. It's just a simple little calculator that I look at. And I'm looking at this. Hopefully it loads because I don't want to waste too much of your time. I was looking through this last night while I was on the phone with Vote for Pedro, 4 o'clock in the morning. All right, here, SPX 38.95s. So what I'm looking at here is the January 13th, and I would be looking to buy the 40.25 calls and sell the January 13th 40.20 calls, right? Now, as of the close on Friday, it's only a 50-cent credit, so 11% on the trade. Probability of profit, 91.3%. The break even is at 40.20. So that would be where your break even point would be. And again, coming back just on the data, we had broken up into the 4,000s back in December, but we were closing in the 3,900s after we had that initial drop off from the start of December. And we're right over here at 4019.65. That was our highest close that we had, and that was back on December 13th. December 13th being was CPI was December 13th. So yeah, December 13th was our CPI move. That was our big day right there. And that was 3 sessions from the full moon, plus or minus 3 sessions, and it just so happened to be that that was our high of the month. Now here we're a little bit questionable because 3 sessions prior to the full moon, which was on Friday, we placed that 37.94. Is that the low of the month, or are we looking for a high of the month somewhere here in the next couple of days as we head into earnings and as we have CPI coming up? So again, it's not a questionable thing. It's one or the other, but having it being that we had posted this 37.94, we've had a run of a red monthly candle. You don't traditionally get those back to back. This is where my preference is as we head into the week, that we could get a little bit more of a push up here on Monday. We'll see what happens. We don't close green back to back very often, going all the way back through 2022. Get a dip because of Powell down here into this area, knowing that 38.15 has been a very strong support zone. And then on Thursday, have our CPI come out and be an explosive move to the upside. So on those calls that I was looking at, I might look at them here, but I'm definitely going to have them on the radar for somewhere on Thursday if we do get a nice CPI report, which I'm expecting, and we do get a +2, +3% move, which we have traditionally been getting off of these CPI reports. Powell is good for 2%. CPI is good for 2-3%. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. And anybody who needs to do one-on-one calls, I'm fully booked for today. I've got 4 scheduled. I've thrown a couple videos out, including that Tesla whale that Pedro and I found last night. Anything you need, anything whatsoever, just drop me a message in chat. I'm constantly monitoring it, and I'll be with you first thing tomorrow morning. Have a great weekend.